Hello and welcome to the installation video for the BNS 7-point harness. The BNS 7-point harness comes in two different variations, one for smaller occupants, one for larger occupants. Today we'll be running through the smaller occupant version. So first we'll go through what you get in the box. You will get two components for the BNS 7-point harness. One component is this piece here, which is our main seat component that wraps around the seat to allow for a point to secure the harness onto the seating position. The second component we'll get is the harness component itself, which is here showing us our 7 points, including our crotch strap. And these are the two parts we need to install the harness onto the seat and onto the occupant for transport. So we'll now go and install the seat component first before we ask the occupant to come and sit onto the seating position. So we're now going to install the seat component of the BNS 7-point harness onto the seating position. So this is the top of the harness, this is the bottom of the harness. We'll need to first feed the bottom of the harness in between the gap of the backrest and the squab of the seating position. So I'll rest the top over the bottom top of the seat. I'll grab these two clasps and feed that through the gap between the backrest and the squab. Now once they are fed through that gap, we'll then need to come behind the seating position to now clasp those together and secure it to the seat. So now we're at the back of the seat where we can now finish pulling these straps from the bottom of the seat gap through and attach them onto our red clasp that's in here. So we click one side in, grab the other one, click the other side in, make sure that we're nice and firm onto the seat itself so we don't have much movement. And we're now ready to install the harness component and then get the occupant into the seating position. Now that the seat component has been installed onto the seating position, we can now install the harness component. To install the harness component, we'd first have to feed the crotch strap again through the gap between the backrest and the squab. So I'll grab that, I'll feed that through that gap. Then I'll come around the rear of the vehicle seating position and feed this through the plastic clasp at the back. Adjust it to the right length so that then the occupant can be seated onto their seating position. Now that the harness component has been fitted to the seat, we can now get the occupant to come into the seating position and secure the rest of the harness onto the occupant, ready for transport. So if you want to come and sit into the seating position, so we'd first sit with the harness in between the legs. If they're able to pull the harness up themselves, you can encourage them to do so. If not, the carer would then pull the harness up onto the occupant. At this point, we would grab the two upper harness points so we can secure it onto the occupant and be able to secure the other parts of the 7-point harness. We'll clip the top two in to place. Once the top two are clipped in place, there are 4 other clips that we must attach to the occupant and the harness to ensure we have all 7 points of securement. So 2 of the points would be under the arms, the other 2 points are more towards the waist position. Once we have those 6 clips in place, our 7th point is our crotch strap, which provides our 7-point harness. Now, you can either pre-adjust the 6 straps and then leave the crotch strap adjustment for the last part. That might be a bit easier when we're negotiating the client and the harness to the vehicle seat, and it's what I've done today. So we've got all 6 now secured. I'll come around the rear of the seat. I will slightly pull and adjust the crotch strap so that it's comfortable but firm on the occupant's body. clip that off, and now the harness is installed onto the occupant and onto the seating position. The last step in the process is to install the seatbelt over the top of the harness and the client, and then they're ready for transport. So for the seatbelt, this would go on as per normal, just like any other seatbelt inside the vehicle. So feeding the bottom part underneath the arms across the waist, the top part over the shoulder, clipping it into the buckle point, and allowing the retractable seatbelt to sit firmly and securely onto the occupant's body. We're now ready to transport with a 7-point BNS transport harness. The BNS 7-point harness has two functions. It can either be used for postural use, behavioural use, or both. For clients with behaviours of concern, these plastic clips have a locking mode. So we've got this key in our hand here, and there's a key slot in between all of the plastic buckles, which we can put that key into place, turn it, and now we can lock that buckle from being able to be undone, as you can see here. And to simply unlock it, we put the key in, turn it back to the upright position, and now the buckle can be undone. You can individually lock or unlock the plastic buckles. As you might find, the client is not undoing all of the buckles, but it might be a certain area of the body that they're uncomfortable with or showing distress in. So we can individually just lock whatever buckles are required to ensure that that occupant is safely transporting in the seating position. Now we're going to do removal of the occupant from the harness and the seating position. Step 1 is to remove this occupant seatbelt, unclipping, pulling the seatbelt off over the harness and over the occupant's body. And then we can now remove the harness in the same way that we installed it onto the client. So we'll undo our 4 side clips first, our 2 top clips, harness is then pulled over the front, and the occupant can now exit the seating position of the vehicle.